it is what it is. I personally, I wouldn't have done something like that.
You were taking that to the grave.
Privacy. Well, if two people have a private, situation and talks and they say that we're going to keep it private, I keep it private.
You know them as the hosts of Bachelors in the City, Peter Weber and Dustin Kendrick. How are you guys?
We are doing good, Sarah. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you. Still podcast hosts, but no longer roommates. Am I correct?
Yeah, we had a little breakup.
We broke up.
What happened? Who snores too much? Who's not clean?
We got in a big fight. We didn't really want to air this out, but we figured why not?
But since you asked, I guess we should come clean with everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it was I think some communication issues. If I'm being completely honest, and I think we went our own ways. And
somebody watched the Netflix show without the other one.
Actually,
all
that's
the
true.
time.
He watches Sex and the City without me way too much, and at this point, I've just gone over it.
The disrespect, though.
Wow.
I'll tell you what.
No, it's just a temporary move. We're waiting for our new lease to start up in March, so we are on a break, but we have we're getting back together, guys. So don't you worry.
Oh, good.
Don't you worry.
I was losing sleep over it personally. I saw the moving. I was like, "What's going on?"
It. Yeah.
Had to get to the bottom of it.
It's been crazy. Yeah,
I miss him.
It's been a crazy time.
Oh, well, you're still doing the podcast. How has that been going?
It's been a blast.
Has been going really. Yeah, it's crazy. We never thought it would have. I mean, we're almost on a year right now, and the podcast game is very hard to keep up with, and we're sticking strong.
I knew nothing. I mean, I truly knew nothing going into it. Never would have thought of ever doing a podcast, and only because Dustin, I convinced him to move out with me to New York City. He agreed. And so I agreed to do a podcast with him. And that's kind of how it started. And it's been a blast, and it's kind of taken off and just been a little unexpected, but we're very, very grateful for it and having a blast with all our third roommates out there. And we'll see what the future holds, but it's looking bright. So it's very cool.
Nice. Have you guys been doing more? You do guests, but then you also talk about the show sometimes, I think, because people probably ask you. And then I know you do like your own life, right? Just updates.
Yeah, we do 2 episodes a week. We normally have guests, we interview, or just what me and Peter going through. A lot of times we just have
kind of like our own therapy sessions, honestly, between the two of us. Like we're just like, it's literally like this, like the title is 2 Bachelors in the City, and we just talk about our life, all the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, and we just share it with everyone. And I don't know if people have been like enjoying it, but then of course we have the Bachelor tie too, and we do some recaps and keep up with it. We try to get as many guests on as we can. The show's not been the best at for whatever reason, they don't approve our guest requests. I don't know what that says, but we still have a good time with it.
When you get like 5 minutes with Clayton, I don't ever really get much anyway, so you're not missing it. But after the contracts are up, you know how it goes. That's when you get the real thing anyway.
Hey, that's when we'll start getting our guests.
Dustin, you have a girlfriend, right?
I do. Yeah, I have a girlfriend.
Can you tell me anything about her that you feel comfortable sharing?
Of course. Yeah, I have a girlfriend. I guess it's been like 8 months. Very sweet girl. She was raised in London, but she is American. She's a journalist for The Sun. Just a great girl. I love spending time with her, and we're just going strong. And Pete's been a little jealous lately. He's like mad that she's taking me away from him, but he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay.
She's taken up a lot. She's lucky that I like her so much because she's taken up a lot of time with Dusty, with my bestie. And no, but I'm super happy for the two of them. They've had a beautiful start to their relationship. And honestly, it's been cool just to have it as a model of, something hopefully that I can find soon. So they've been, I'm very happy for the two of them.
Yeah. Peter loves cat. He's like, dude, you just want to have like cat move in? Like all 3 of us could live together. It could be like
I know.
House. Like, let's just come on.
I'm not even in the relationship, and I feel like I need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, you're doing that thing that I feel like people say that after they're on this show, they move too fast because that's not what they're used to. And you're moving along Dustin's relationship for him.
Well, can't you fall in love in 2 months and know that you want to spend the rest of your life with someone? Like, what are you waiting for, bro?
How did you meet her?
How did I meet her? Oh, it's a very interesting story.
Oh, this is a story.
All right. So here we go. I'm going to lay it out for you guys. So her and my buddy Clay had matched on the app Raya. So they had matched, and
Clay Harbor
of Bachelor fame himself.
Correct.
That'll come into play later too. We have a really funny update.
We just keep it all in the family. Anyways, he came out here to visit me and Pete, and we were hanging out, and he was like, hey, I haven't met this girl before, but I'm going to invite her out to our Sunday fun day we had back in March. So he invites her out, and me and her just kind of hit it off. And ever since then, like we went on a date maybe like 2 weeks later, and it's just been going steady. It's been, going steady.
Oh, they really hit it off.
How did Clay feel about that?
I don't think Clay minds.
It was undeniable.
I think he's okay.
It was so funny. It was meant to be them from the beginning. So we found out later that we had gone out to this kind of like the sports bar. And later on, Kat admits that she had like taken notes or like had taken videos of, or not.
And her close friends, girls in their close friends story. They put like pony notes and stuff. Yeah.
And had pegged Dustin as really like something like really cute guy, like really digging him. And like right off the bat, Dustin had caught her eye. And so it was kind of destined from the start to be that way.
All right, that's good. Then no drama, but shout out to Clay for matching with her technically.
I got to appreciate. And yeah, you know, the best thing about this is Clay's moving in with me and Peter.
This is going to be hilarious.
In March.
Oh my God, a third roommate of, wow. I love that. Now you have to help Clay.
Yeah, you got to return the favor, dude.
Yeah. I think Clay's going to be A-okay here in New York. He's going to be A-okay.
Okay, so he's moving to New York.
He's moving to New York. So it's going to be me, Peter, and Clay Harbor living together under one roof.
Wow.
Who knows
Special
what these
appearances
adventures.
by Kat.
Yeah. Yes. Special appearances by Kat.
And of course, Trippy and Sophia.
Yes, the dogs. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What if they weren't and it was something else weird?
that'd be awkward. No, that'd be
and Peter, I have to ask you, do you have a love life update for me?
You got an update, Peter? What's going on with you, man?
You know,
I haven't even seen you.
I get asked this all the time.
Yeah.
I get asked this all the time. I had a Broentine's day yesterday, I would say, with one of my best friends. You know what? Sometimes people I feel like can shame on Valentine's Day if you're single, and I am single. I'm enjoying being single, and I'm in a very good place. Not rushing it, not pushing it, and just going. I say where the wind kind of blows me right now, and you know, we'll see what happens. But as always, I have the faith. You know, it's going to happen, and it just hasn't happened yet. But that is A-okay.
Any girls catching your eyes, Peter? I haven't talked to you in a while. I mean,
good question, Dustin.
I know. That's what I say.
I got this. Don't worry about this.
Our communication really has kind of struggled a little bit and taken a hit. Actually, yeah, a couple. I would say. Yeah. Shut up. I don't know why you're acting like you know none of this. You're the first person I talked to.
Girls we would know, or girls that we wouldn't know?
No one from like the show or anything. But just some great quality girls. Just a couple, nothing like crazy, but around New York City. Nothing serious though. As soon as anything serious, guys, believe me, I've never been someone to shy away from expressing myself and emotions. Like I don't hide that kind of stuff. So
as soon as it's serious, we'll all be under one household together. Me, Kat, him.
It'll be like Full House.
It's gonna be all of us. So
now that's a reality show.
You might be on to something actually.
I can produce.
Oh God.
Would you say, because it's been now like 2 years since you finished being the Bachelor, and obviously when the show first ends, it's like a lot of attention still and a lot of this, and you know, COVID was weird, and obviously you dated Kelly and then you were single. Would you say now you're at the point where it's like died down a little bit with people? Like, do you ever meet people who don't bring stuff up to you now?
I'll say when that does happen, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And like, that just to me it's like a huge weight off my back. And like when people don't, like, I'm not like mad about like my experiences. I had a truly, like, I appreciate the experience. There was good things, there was bad things from it. And I always choose to be appreciative of it. You always have that choice. And so that's what I choose. But when people kind of like allow me to just be Peter and removed from that, and like there's so many other things of just being the Bachelor, like to me, I look at it as like, it feels like almost a lifetime ago. Still parts of it seem like it was just yesterday, but I do feel like I'm starting to really kind of move on from that, and that's not the biggest thing around my life anymore. At least I hope to feel that way. And so when I do meet people and that just doesn't come up, it is the most refreshing thing in the world. And I love that. And if it does, like, it's not like something I can't touch on and like reflect on, because it was a part of my life, a very big part of my life. But I guess all this is to say is just I'm very excited to kind of like really get on to the next chapter and put that behind me. And that's kind of where my mindset's at.
Fair enough. Flying planes, children's books, got a lot going on.
People forget he's a pilot.
I know. He has a real job.
He's a pilot. You know how cool it is?
Like a big airline.
Do you know how cool it is to live with someone that's a pilot? And I hate flying. So I'm always like, Pete, so what if this happens? Like, we watched Flight the other day with Denzel Washington. I'm like, just tell me this. There's no way this can happen, right? Please tell me. Like, he's been helping my nerves, calming me.
Dustin's a nervous flyer, but yeah, I'm super excited. I'm going to start doing that. I'm waiting to go to my new airplane, and that's going to open up a whole new adventure, all Europe, all international. And, you know, with hopefully COVID kind of really starting to go away and travel really opening up. I'm stoked for that.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about Clayton. I'll grill you guys more later. I'm sure I'll come up with something to ask you.
I don't think we're going to get in trouble, though, for those answers. So.
No, that was great. Beautifully done.
Sarah. Yeah.
But now let's talk about Clayton. Let's talk more about the show. So we'll see how it goes there.
Oh, God.
How have you guys been watching this season regularly? Do you tune in and out? Or how do you feel about Clayton as a lead overall? Where are we temperature check wise?
Well, we do recaps weekly. So we are very familiar with Clayton, and I'm enjoying the show so far. I'm not going to lie. I was very hesitated at first, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job, and I'm excited so far.
Yes, well, obviously we're caught up. I just actually finished catching up on the last episode this morning. But here's my take. So my heart goes out to Clayton so much because I relate to Clayton in so many ways. And I look at his season and I'm seeing so many, it's like, it's almost a little bit of PTSD for me, like being pulled back into it. Cause I'm just like, I've been in that exact situation. I've been told something so similar to that. I've had to make a decision very similar to that under that kind of pressure. And I was actually talking to a producer the other day, and she was agreeing with me like 100% on. She's like, she actually said it too. She's like, yeah, I feel like a lot of the same similarities from your season are in this one with Clayton. So my heart goes out to him, and it's tough. It's definitely, it kind of felt like with, we were talking like with Matt's season, it wasn't, the drama didn't necessarily involve him as much. He wasn't kind of sucked into it as much. There was still drama, but it was maybe more around like the women. This is like, is Clayton and my season are a little bit more where we kept getting dragged into it. And it's a very uncomfortable kind of situation. And, it's not easy to make the right decision all the time, and when you're not privy to all this information. So that's why I'm trying to defend Clayton as much as I can with certain situations.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm glad you offered that up because Peter, I mean, it's hard to deny that Bachelor Nation on social media making a lot of comparisons between Clayton and Peter.
Oh man, I know. It's I have seen lots of those, but listen, what people just, again, you're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth here. I've been in his shoes. There is so much that goes on that you're not seeing, unfortunately. You know, again, I don't know any of the backstory with Clayton behind the scenes with his season. I haven't talked to any people from his season on, you know, what's going on like that. But you can see it too. You can see like the manipulation that's going on, and you can see how, you know, certain people are being pushed forward on the show, and it's kind of making Clayton look bad. It just is. And that part sucks to see because, you know, I feel like that happened on mine too. And that's not necessarily Clayton's fault. He's, you know, if there's someone in there that's getting a lot of time that everyone's looking at like, how is he not seeing this? And why is he making this decision? Why is he keeping her around? Well, if she's there for, you know, 20 minutes and doing a whole montage, a makeout scene, like producers are making that happen or allowing that to happen. And it sucks to see kind of in hindsight how that all plays out and turns out. And then people make these judgments on you and they're like, well, this guy's an idiot, or why isn't he seeing that? And it's tough. It's kind of, you don't realize what you're signing up for, but it's just kind of, it comes with the territory.
Yeah. Shanae, let's start with her. 2-on-1. Shanae. She's been something. And I know I always try to say and remember, you know, it's an edited show. But she is kind of confusing me because I feel like she's saying these like full sentences that don't seem to be chopped up. We're watching her say them and admitting to just acting and, forcing tears. And It's confusing to me as a viewer because I thought we were supposed to suspend any sort of fakeness. And I feel like she's a little bit different than traditional quote unquote villains in the fact that she wanted to be, but maybe I'm getting played. I don't know. What do you think about Shanae overall as how she's been on the show?
I don't get it. I do not get Shanae. It's true. I don't feel like sure, the power of editing is very powerful, and you can Frankenbite things and you can make people sound like they're maybe acting a little crazier than they really are. But you're right. It doesn't seem like it's so consistent, so many different, scenes or different locations. And it's like that same behavior is kind of going on. It's like she just has bought into it, I guess. And I don't think I've ever, from my memory, I don't think I've ever seen someone on the show that, quote unquote villain has bought into it. And it seems like they enjoy it, so much. I remember we, with Dustin and I, when we were on Hannah season, a lot of people thought Luke was like a paid actor. Like they kept thinking, he's a paid actor there. And I don't know if I ever necessarily bought that, but it's like, I would almost believe it with Shanae if that's what she was doing, because it just seems so over the top and egregious. I'm like, I just don't understand it.
Yeah. You bring up Luke P, which makes me think, because the women's reaction also says a lot. I think overall, always on the show, the contestants, how they react when something happens. If they're sad when someone goes home, you're like, that probably was like a nice girl. They bonded. If they're literally cheering and double fisting champagne and saying comments like, our guy has a good picker, we can trust him now. That says a lot about her, no?
It's honestly, that was hard to watch. This sounds bad, but my heart almost goes out to Shanae having to watch that. Granted, she probably did this to herself, if there wasn't too much editing.
She did do this to herself. Listen,
but I say that truly, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt because we don't know the full story. You've been on the show,
She was just saying tears. I'm trying to get these tears out. Come on, I don't buy that at all.
You're right. I guess,
she knows what she was buying into. I don't feel sorry for her. She's gonna be A-okay. She bought into the villain, and she's the villain, and she's gonna get looked at. Yeah.
If you had to predict, they love a villain on Paradise, obviously. But there was a lot of people tweeting last night. Mike Fleiss even responded to one of someone wanting to boycott if Shanae goes on Paradise, which no one's boycotting anything. But people maybe kind of over it, don't want to see her. If you were her, would you ever want to even open yourself up to that? And do you think she should, we should see her again? Just throwing that out there.
She's made for TV. Yes, she needs to go on all the other shows. She's entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, she was very entertaining. I actually loved watching her because
I hate to admit, because I truly Dustin and I talk about this all the time. I watch a show for the love. I want to see that story, and it's only one or two relationships that maybe you get a season that you get to really fall for. But I will say, once Shanae left in this most recent episode, it kind of it didn't feel the same. So I have to admit, I get why producers do that and why villains are necessary for her for Paradise. Listen, I can't speak for her. I don't know her, but you would think if she's going to do it, you got to go on, try to get some type of redemption arc, try to show maybe who you really are. I find it hard to believe that that's how she really is in real life, 24/7. It seems a little over the top.
You're a nice guy, Peter.
I know he's a little nice.
I want to give her the benefit of the doubt because that's just crazy.
Oh. I see toxic.
Yeah, I also think what was confusing about her is last week she was comparing herself to Meryl Streep, and then this week her play was to try to say that Genevieve was an actress. And it's I know you're caught up in the moment, and again, I don't know what we're not seeing, but you're literally a walking hypocrite now. You're playing your own game again. I just feel like it's messy, and I don't know. She was a weird one to me. It's not the traditional quote unquote villain. She was confusing to me.
Yeah, just ridiculous. The claims were so ridiculous and so out there. They just didn't make sense. And I felt so bad. Genevieve just looked so caught off guard. Where did that come from? But so I thought she handled it well.
It's so toxic, and people love red flags and toxic behavior. People love it, and it's doing really well.
Yeah. It's true.
Why do we love it so much? Why,
I don't know.
Human beings, are we so entertained by that?
Oh, that's a question for a psychiatrist.
Seriously.
It's when we want to date, we can't help but go for the red flags. it's insane. But
yeah, it is. It's dark and it's twisted, and that's why the show works. But it's true. In a lead perspective, someone like when hearing the women say something like, "Oh, we kept him." We know he has a good guy. He has a good pick or whatever because he finally got rid of Shanae. How much of your decision making feels like, okay, I need to make the right decision because whoever my front runners are or whoever I actually like, I worry about what they're going to think of me if I keep this person around. I know it's not necessarily always your choice, but is that something you're thinking in the back of your mind? If I keep, I don't even remember who one of your villains was, but if I keep Shanae for much longer, will these women start to turn on me?
Yeah. That's a good question. So for me, the first time that ever happened or that I was ever put in that kind of frame of mind was, I remember I had this conversation with Chris and he brought it to my attention. He's like, listen, this is like a very pivotal moment here where you got to, the decision you're making is really going to either make or just break this house. And, you possibly could lose, credibility with women if you don't make the decision or what. I won't get into details of what it was, but I remember he had that conversation with me and it really kind of opened my eyes. I was like, yeah, okay, I can't just think about this personally and for myself and what I want to continue to explore a little bit longer or not. I have to make decisions for everyone else, for the greater good of all this kind of working out. And so that's definitely, as a lead, that's definitely something that's important. And it's maybe not easy to do in moments because maybe true. And for me, I had a moment where my heart was pulling me somewhere else. But if I went there and it wasn't necessarily pulling me hard enough to make me say, all right, whatever, I need to do this, for sure. But it still was tugging me that way. But I knew that I couldn't go that route because of what it was going to do with everyone else and the disruption that it could cause. So that's listen, being a Bachelor is not easy. There's so many difficult, situations you go through and you kind of learn it on the go because you don't get practice for it. So I felt it was a moment of, I was rooting for Clayton when he made the right decision. He gave it to Genevieve and you could just see that it was for at least a moment, all was right again. And until they brewed up some more drama.
Yeah. We can get into Mara and Sarah and their feud that kind of comes out of nowhere, but kind of, by the way, great answer. Nice, cryptic enough, but also insightful. Mara and Sarah, which a couple weeks ago when they were roasting each other, they were definitely picking at each other with the age thing. So they kind of laid the foundation there. And I felt like that was real. They kind of played it off like they were joking, but I was like, oh, these girls do not like each other is the vibe I got. And then we saw that here. For you guys watching it, did it feel like Mara had any real intentions of these concerns, or was she just grasping for straws? Because clearly she's, probably at the bottom of Clayton's list at this point.
Yeah. You want to go, Dustin?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to put my finger on Mara. It does seem like she's reaching a little bit, just trying to stir up a little bit, and maybe he's a little jealous of Sarah and from that roast. Yeah, I don't know what to put my finger on it, but yeah, I mean, say hello to your new villain though. That's for sure.
With Mara, it's so this is my take on her. I really want I've been watching her the whole season and you can tell she is into it. She has bought in. She obviously feels like she's in a perfect point of her life for this to work and to find someone, and she's the right age and just very powerful, strong, independent woman like she keeps saying, and I believe that. I buy all that, and I'm rooting for her and I want her to find it. I haven't felt one glimpse of anything with her and Clayton, and so it's as much as I see her wanting it and you want to root for her, it's well, it's not going to happen. It's not. You, as a viewer, you can just see, and it's it sucks coming from the lead side when you have someone that's Amara, where she's such a great person. Paper. She's perfect on paper, but it's just you don't feel it, and it's you don't know how to you don't know how to let her down. How do you do that? And so it's maybe
you could tell he's not feeling it in that conversation.
And she's reaching.
Yeah, it's Sarah. I don't know if you knew this, but we always joke about this on our show. Peter is the chemistry doctor. No one understands chemistry like Mr. Weber. He's oh, man,
am I right or am I wrong? There's not, the chemistry's not there with Mara and Clayton. It's just not.
It's not.
Him and Rachel is just not there.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds like a potential column in Cosmopolitan magazine. The chemistry doctor, Peter Weber.
Whatever. I can fly planes. do a little chemistry, I guess.
Yeah. If you're ever on a plane and maybe you'll like walk out, I know like the pilot's a little busy flying the plane, but if you ever, walk out, maybe see a little sparks on a plane, you hear those stories sometimes. Maybe you can help them decide if it's the real deal.
Hey, if I see a couple in first class, yeah, I'm a good matchmaker. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's not there. And it just kind of comes off. I'm not, I don't want to be mean, but like a little sad. I'm not saying that she's not right. And you have to, shoot your shot. That's why you're there. Clearly she's there, quote unquote, for the right reasons, which is nice. But when she's like listing out all the things she's done and he's looking at her like, well, that doesn't mean I'm in love with you. I was like, God, like that was a little cringe for me. No shade, Mara, but that was tough.
She's someone though that you want to so badly see on Paradise, and you want to root the hell out of it for her to go find someone and like have that happy ending and see it and just like off into the sunset, because she deserves that, But then to wrap up the Sarah side of it, it was just to jump ahead at the end. Sarah's obviously very distraught about these allegations that she, maybe has said, which first of all, the offhanded comment of not ready to get engaged said weeks ago. I feel like that was probably more like, this is crazy. Like, not like I'm never going to get, like, I feel like maybe she's kind of reaching with that one. Totally. And Sarah's very visible emotional reaction, seemingly crying, talking to a producer, I would assume, when she's like off there, felt real to me. But then she flipped it real quick with the anger going back in. And then the promo, I don't know if they're messing with me, probably makes it seem like the other girls maybe kind of don't love Sarah either. At least some of them are on Mara's side. So I can't decide what I actually think of what's happening there.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. How old is Sarah again?
23.
Oh, she's not ready for marriage. That's insane.
No. I don't listen. I don't.
Peter, as in someone else who also had girls that were younger, and you got crap for that too, picking younger girls.
She is your fault, 23. But she's not ready. She lives in New York City.
You cannot say that definitively for the most part. But I say it time and time again, you can meet a 30-year-old that's not ready for marriage, has a long way to go, and you can meet a 23-year-old that's more than ready and for whatever reason has those life experiences and that maturity. You can't box everyone into the same box 100%. So I never like to say that.
I will.
You and Mara. No, I get what you mean. It's hard for me to think, especially like East Coast girl. I don't know. Not that like all Southern people who maybe get married younger are necessarily ready or not. It's all generalizations, but I just can't decide if Mara's intentions, it feels like she doesn't have the right intentions of throwing Sarah under the bus, but that doesn't mean she's wrong about Sarah either. But Sarah seems like a nice girl, and Clayton clearly likes making out with her. So she's sticking around for a little longer.
He likes making out with a lot of the girls.
Yeah, he liked making out with Shanae too, which was why also everyone says that producers, make you keep someone like that, which I don't know if that's true. I'm sure they, help. But he liked making out with Shanae. There was no putting a gun to Clayton's head when Shanae was coming in the room, in that bar area. I
said I was very jealous because he was so smooth at doing the lifts and picking her up and putting her on bar stands or whatever, and not banging her head like I seem to do with anyone I try that with. So I gotta take some lessons from Clayton.
He's kind of smooth there. I think so. He's good at making out and good at whispering.
Smooth. He is, yes.
Which, speaking of whispering, I want to talk about Rachel, because she is, in my opinion, and probably not a revolutionary opinion, the clear front runner here, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that he's been able to give her the group date rose so many times. So I think back to back, like he's very lucky he was able to do that. And it's kind of like, you see, if I'm looking at this as just a viewer here, I'm like, maybe production now is throwing up a little bit of a Hail Mary with Susie to try to they can't have Rachel separate too much from the pack. So now, Susie's going to come in and I believe, I don't think that it's there with Susie and Clayton as much as it is with Rachel and Clayton, but I don't think Susie would just say that and lie about it. I do feel like she feels for him, and I would say, Susie's the number 2, but Rachel's just pulling away from the pack right now. It's not really a competition.
Yeah. I feel like with Rachel and Clayton, though, all they really do is look at each other and whisper and make out and then talk about how they like each other so much. I mean, maybe they're cutting stuff out, but it's definitely there chemistry wise, but it kind of feels like one of those where they're going to leave and realize they hadn't said a word to each other of anything important.
Don't know anything about each other.
Yeah.
Kinda and then even on their first one-on-one date when he was promise me you'll still like me tomorrow or something. I was like, are we in 8th grade? There was just some weird things being said, but they also the way they're looking at each other, you can't deny it. So there's something there. It just feels like, I don't know if we got love or we got lust or something.
A little bit of and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, a little bit almost like the puppy dog love where you just say really kind of ridiculous things because you're just so you're overwhelmed with your feelings and you're really feeling it with the person. So you can see it there. But yeah, I could see that like possibly happen where maybe they don't know that much about each other at the end. Hopefully not the case. I don't know. We got to do some predictions for how it all ends.
But that's almost the case for all of it. I mean, you don't have that much time. Not like you could get it all out there at the beginning. So who knows?
I don't know if they just do it because the way they edit The Bachelor and Bachelorette a little differently, but it always feels like on The Bachelorette, they at least show the lead like responding or like asking questions. And with the Bachelors, they always make it seem like, or maybe you guys don't, I don't know, that you don't really ask any questions and you're just like, I love that for you. And then you make out. And on The Bachelorette, it's like, let's have these deep conversations about race and about like how we're raising our children and religion. And I don't know if the women leads, maybe spend more time doing that or if it's just the way they show it. Cause like stereotypically, but it feels like that to me. And I feel like Clayton's getting a little bit of the Ari, I love that. Thank you for sharing. Let's move on.
Yeah, it's, I've noticed that a lot with him. I don't know why. Listen, no, to defend the Bachelors. No, trust me, there's a lot of conversations that it gets cut out. And this is probably just editing. I'm sure they've had very insightful talks. But it's just like, it's difficult to have those serious conversations. Well, I guess it's not because they do it on The Bachelorette. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know the reason.
I think it's just more fun. The Bachelor, it's just the way they edit the show. I think it's different. And there used to be like more things to say of the success of the Bachelorette couples, but now it's kind of evening out. Like there were so many breakups in the last couple of years that it's kind of like
we need some more to just stick, some relationships to work out here.
I'm pretty confident in Michelle and Nate personally I don't know them at all, but I just feel confident in Michelle and Nate. I don't know why.
I didn't know how I felt at the end and my opinions changed. I definitely, from what I've seen as an outside perspective, they seem really good with each other. And I'm stoked for them.
They just met Rihanna. How crazy is that?
And Rihanna knew who they were. Like,
that's wild.
Yo, come on. Rihanna knowing who you are, that's huge.
Has anyone ever come up to either one of you that knew who you were, that you were pleasantly surprised?
Not on Rihanna's level. Yeah.
That's a big one.
I wish.
Maybe
it's always like, who are you again?
That's just for Dustin. Okay, that's really funny. But also with Susie, I agree with you. I think the clock tower thing felt like a let's keep Susie in the mix, but it was like a sweet moment.
Yeah.
When it's stuff like that, if you can answer this, is it like, if you wanted to do something like that and you're a contestant on this show and you go to a producer, are they like most of the time willing to at least help you try? Or do they depend if you're going to work to further the story, they'll figure it out for you? Or is it like a turn around, wait for your time? Or is there no consistent answer to that?
I think, I truly believe that at the end of the day, yes, it's a reality TV show, but at the end of the day, producers want the love story to happen. They truly do. And so I would say at a point in the journey, kind of getting along there, getting close to hometowns, it's getting serious. If someone were to do that, they're going to if it makes sense, they're going to do that and they're going to allow it to happen. And they're going to give you every ability to be creative with the lead or take them away or steal their time, or steal them away. They will help out. But it's got to make sense, obviously. Yeah,
that makes sense. Before we move on from Susie, you seeing those Hannah B comparisons?
I guess I see. I definitely.
In this episode, she called herself an inner beast. I'm like, this is like almost like you're stealing her line.
Wait, I missed that. Did she?
During the group date when they were doing the whatever that was, the warrior competition, she was like, I have an inner savage, an inner beast inside. I was like, that is straight up a Hannah B quote.
Man.
Wow. They definitely fed her that line to say.
She looks like her. Kind of.
Yeah, I can see the resemblance. Yeah, definitely.
I see it too. Yeah.
You talked about this on your podcast and you shared your side of the story, but did you ever talk to Hannah B after that book came out?
You know what? I did not. I reached out to her. I received no comments, and it is what it is. I personally, I wouldn't have done something like that. I just
you were taking that to the grave.
Private. Well, I just if two people have a private situation and talks and they say that we're going to keep it private, I keep it private. So I don't know. She now has done that to me on 2 occasions where she said she's not going to say anything and then she says something.
What was the other one?
The windmill. She asked me not to say anything.
She wrote about that in the book too, how she promised not to say anything, but the heat of the moment just took over. So she feels bad about it. I read the whole book. I doubt you did, but.
So I don't think I could confide in her anymore. Put it that way. But I think I probably helped sell a lot of books for her. So I will.
You definitely did. And I got that book a little early, and I was just on the edge of my seat for those 3 weeks waiting for everyone to find out, because I signed an NDA and I couldn't tell anyone. And I was like, but Peter, I will say what's something, and you always do this. You always take the high road in moments like that. And you've told your side of the story, but when I listened to you guys talk about it, it's like, you could be so shady right now. You could be so this, and you were just like telling your side of the story, and you're like, it is what it is. And as a journalist, I'm like, lame. But as a person, I'm like, good job, Peter.
Well, listen, it wasn't anything like, it wasn't anything crazy. Like, there wasn't nothing like scandalous about it. It was, we had a past that, guys, I'm trying to put yourself in our shoes, and like, everything we had been through, and then not being able to see each other and see each other, and then how everything happened. It was a very what is going on moment. And it was just two people kind of exploring that, and nothing came from it, and that's okay. But like, again, I was never going to speak on it, but once it got out, like, there was nothing to hide. It was nothing like that I felt bad about or, ashamed of. It was what everyone goes through, two people trying to figure stuff out. Nothing crazy about it.
Did you hear from any of your other, exes or Bachelor Nation exes at that time who were maybe surprised to learn that information just based on the timeline?
I can honestly say no. I do not speak to any exes. I have fully moved on, moving forward.
Fair enough. Had to ask. Yeah. Let's wrap up. Clayton, what do you guys think of Teddy? She had a one-on-one. She got the first impression rose, obviously, but hasn't been like a major player since then.
Yeah.
With the Bachelors, we kind of see that necessarily. They're not always as like front runner-ish. I don't know why that is. But she seems great. Clayton's reaction to her being a virgin was a little strange, just with I would have never known. I think he meant well, but it kind of came off weird.
I think he kind of didn't know what to say in the moment, and it just kind of flowed out. And I think that's what happened there, but I agree.
Yeah. But she seems lovely.
I think she seems like a great girl. I was saying this with someone else, Pete. I don't know if I would want to go on TV and publicly lose my virginity, though. I don't think
that seems like an insane amount of pressure.
Yeah.
I don't think this is something I would want, especially like 10 years down the line. Just people know you for that, if that's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know.
It does take a long time to quote unquote like shed that. Whether you like do anything in the fantasy suite or not. Like, how long did Ashley I or Becca Tilly have to have people like me creepily ask them questions about that? But it's like what they're known for. So it's like this weird thing, but also it's like nice to share. I don't know. It's a weird one. Bachelor and virginity. It's like a weird trope that they're never going to get rid of.
No,
we're talking to Ashley I had no idea she was also like a virgin. And
she was like one of the OG, like talking about it on the show.
We were just on her show, and now she was talking about Teddy being. I'm like, I don't think I'd do that. I don't know about that. And we were talking about. I was like, holy shit. She was like, well, I'm one. And I'm like, oh man. Sorry.
Yeah, she was like the OG with that.
In any way, if I did, but
no. Now she's a mom and married Garrett. It's like weird to know. Like, it's just weird that we ever have to think like. Not that I'm like losing sleep at night thinking like who Ashley I lost her virginity to, but like it's weird that we were presented that. And then it's like this weird narrative that follows you sometimes to a paradise if you stay on this show. Right. And then you can separate yourself from it. And she's obviously very successful in what she does. And people aren't asking, she's married. No one's asking her about that now. But it's a weird thing. And those years were probably difficult right after of like being known for that. And then it continuing because she was on Paradise like and Winter Games and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, that'd be I don't know if I would have exposed that about myself. If that was the case, that's just a lot of pressure, and it's got to be uncomfortable. But yeah, we'll see what happens. With specifically with Teddy though, it's like I feel like it's dropped off. I don't know if it's there anymore.
Chemistry doctor. What is it? Chemistry doctor. It's not there.
Well, no, she was off to a huge start. The impression rose, and
it's true.
It's just kind of petered out, and
it's gone. It's gone forever.
Getting there.
Okay.
I think I agree with you though. I think it's clear, in my opinion, Rachel, Susie's a contender, and Gabby. I don't know if Bachelor Nation just likes Gabby or if Clayton likes. Like, I feel like Gabby gets a lot of screen time, but it's more like when she's being silly. But I think Clayton likes her enough, right? Like, she's definitely a contender.
I would say that has to be the top three. Yeah, the last episode with Gabby, that was a beautiful one-on-one date there. She seems like an absolute sweetheart. Yeah. I could see too for, I don't know, I would say it's going to be, well, I don't know what happens. Obviously, no one does. But this is my prediction. My prediction is, and I hate to say this, that he ends up with no one, and that it was supposed to be Rachel, but
she loses it after
she finds out.
Both of you.
Yes, she loses it, and then I who knows if they all walk away or how it ends, or maybe he walks away because it was mainly Rachel, but I'm hoping that's not the case. But that's how I kind of think it ends, and then I could see either Susie or Gabby being the Bachelor. I feel like whenever we've seen Susie on screen, the way she just like commands the conversation, it's like she's the Bachelorette and Clayton's kind of the contestant. And I haven't seen that with any other of the ladies, so she could be a good one. But
you know who I want to see as the Bachelorette?
Who?
A villain. I would love to see Cheyenne as
Shanae.
I'm sorry. I would love to see Shanae.
What about that girl, that Cassidy girl early on? She never would be because she's out, but I feel like she was also gunning for the Bachelorette role.
Yeah.
Which girl?
The girl who like Cassidy, who was like coaching Shanae. That was
they were like
awesome.
the best friends in the beginning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, they were both crazy. Maybe both of them together.
You know what? Cool. That's if have they ever done a villain to become the lead?
I don't think so. I mean, Juan Pablo, but he was not a villain when they picked him. He just became one. And then they probably tried to offer Courtney Robertson a lot of money after her and Ben Flajnik broke up, but she never took it. So I don't think so.
Interesting.
I don't know if they would do Shanae. What would your advice be going into the women tell all for Clayton?
Oh man.
And they haven't taped it yet. I know that it's coming up, but they haven't taped it yet. No.
Okay. I mean, at that point, I'm trying to think about how mine went. And
I guess most of it is the women just like yelling at each other, and then you come out at the end as the lead. But even as a contestant, like you've done it. But were you at? No, you weren't at Hannah's.
I never did.
Justin, were you at Hannah's?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember like the guys just like going off at each other?
Yeah, I think everyone just went off on Luke P.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
where's Luke P now?
That's a good question.
We should look into that.
I have no idea. And I think for Clayton though, I mean, I've seen a little bit here where he's like, he feels bad about the decisions and the public scrutiny and all this.
He's apologizing. Go and just
straight up ask whatever straight up question you want to ask to Shanae, whoever it may be. Why was that done? And hopefully they'll be honest with you and get whatever answers. I guess at that point though, it's like, what does it really matter? What's done is done. Hopefully he's happy and with someone now. It's all been filmed and it's done with, but so it's not really going to change anything. But
I think he should step into more so not the nice guy role and maybe just take in control of the women tell all and telling, not even asking, why were you acting like this? But like, this is wrong of you. You shouldn't have done this. You were playing these games on me, and it's not right. And I would like to see him take that role because he is a nice guy and he probably wants to make everyone feel comfortable. And it's going to be very uncomfortable for him, I'm sure. Yeah. But I'd like to see him just take control, and
I agree.
Control it all.
I think the women tell all is always so disappointing as a viewer because they give us all of this drama and they get us all invested. And then it's just not enough time. It's not like a Housewives reunion, which, I'm sure you guys watch all the time, that they really dive in. And like, it also matters more because these people are like stay in each other's life versus like this show. It's like, they don't even really know each other, but I feel like they introduce all this stuff and like, I'm going to be pissed if I don't get my closure. So it's like, I would have so many more questions. I know they also tape that for hours longer than it airs too, but it's always confusing to me what they show, what they don't show, and why there's always random contestants who aren't there. Like people just don't come. Is that not like an obligation?
I don't know why.
There's always people missing.
There are always people missing.
I don't think they invite everybody.
It's weird.
I don't think they invite everybody.
Is there anyone you don't think is gonna kind of get, I don't know if shafted is the word, but someone that you would think is gonna be there is not gonna be there?
Well, Cassidy comes to mind just as a person who was involved very much in the beginning, but then you forget about her. And like, I have questions for her, but like, right. I don't know if people care anymore. You know what I mean? Because it does go so forward, but I don't know. There is. And then there's always that like one person who takes over and it's like, who are you? Like, your Paradise audition. And it's funny. It's like a trope too.
They find their voice there at the tell-all. And
that's what I was supposed to do.
Dustin didn't start enough drama.
I know I did it.
Overall thoughts on Jesse Palmer?
I think he's doing good. He's
you had an advice moment in this episode.
Yeah, it was a good kind of, fatherly advice type, Chris role there. Kind of reminded me of. I don't think he's doing anything. Put it this way, I don't think he's doing anything that's like making me, he should not be the host and like, what? I'm not feeling it. He's very polished. He's very good at what he does. He obviously has a lot of experience from his, sports broadcasting stuff. So he has his cool connection being a previous Bachelor. And I think I can't get over how similar they look. It's insane.
The mannerisms too. Like he does the hands that Chris Harrison did. Like it's almost like he studied like game.
I know. He did. I see him walking in. He's cheers in the glass.
Yeah.
Whoa, flashbacks.
And I think he's a nice guy too. And he's definitely a very polished host. But like when he brings up when I was the Bachelor, I was in the same position. And I know he was, but it was so freaking long ago. And the show is like so different now that it kind of makes me laugh that it's even like Jesse Palmer trying to relate to Clayton on this level. Like I know it's a unique club. There's only a handful of you guys. But like, doesn't it kind of be like Jesse Palmer? Like, can you really relate to what's Clayton going
yeah,
through right now?
A little bit. It's like he's supposed to say that, but I don't know if I actually buy it. Totally.
Right. But Chris Harrison could never, quote unquote, relate to what you were going through right now, technically, right?
Yeah. And he never
tried to.
I think the most it was just he was going back to previous experiences he had with leads and explaining what happened there. But yeah, he never obviously took that kind of stand.
Yeah. Well, overall, I think the season has been super fun to watch. I just agree with you that I'm not overly confident in maybe Clayton's ability to not necessarily not make a great decision, but the way he's going to navigate this. Do we think we're going to be let down by how good these promos have been? Or do you think it's going to actually be as good as it looks? Because I remember with your season, Peter, it was like all this hype of it's not spoiled. Mm-hmm. And it was like all those crazy theories about you and your producer and like all this stuff. And it was definitely interesting, but a lot of it was what played out after.
Yeah.
And then with Clayton, we're seeing in these promos, these confessions at rose ceremonies, like all this stuff. Like, do we think there's any way we were going to be disappointed as far as a drama standpoint goes?
Yeah, I do. I think so. I really like, I hate that I think this, but I don't think he ends up with someone. And, I guess no, from drama, it's not going to be a letdown, but I think you're going to be sad for the ending of it. If I had to I could be completely wrong. I really don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know either.
I guess I don't think drama, there'll be a letdown for drama. I think it's definitely gonna be dramatic. I can relate the whole fantasy suite thing and, falling for multiple people and but that's the thing. That's the thing with Clayton right now is, I can relate. I know Ben has said stuff. He can relate, but I don't see it though with him. I don't see how he's like at this point. I think I would see it with other women of really how he's like on the level of Rachel. I do think Rachel she's taking off and to such a lead. I'm like, wow, what's going to happen in these next couple of weeks where we really see him fall in love with two other women right now? Because I just don't see it.
Yeah. And say it. There used to be a rule back in the day, unwritten rule. Those bachelors didn't say, I love you, because then they wouldn't end up in this situation. Yeah. And I always joke to Ben Higgins that you made my life with it, but like ruined it. But then it's like, he's like, I tell them not to do it and they all just keep doing it anyway. And I'm like, yeah, I guess it's like a weird thing now, but to say I love you to 3, it's hard to come back from that as someone watching it. I don't know. I know you guys have to compartmentalize when whoever wins and you try to get past that, but that was like used to be the sacred part, the I love you.
You're so right. Yeah, but listen, it's a lot easier said than done. If it truly happens to you and it's possible, I'm telling you, it's possible. And people want to say, it's not real. Like, you can't be in love with more than one person at one time. Well, why not? Can you love if you have multiple marriages, right? If you get divorced and you marry someone else, did you not love 2 people? Why can't it be at the same time? And so I'm an advocate for it. I'll defend Clayton. I get it. It's possible. I agree with Ben. Anyone listening to this, try to refrain from that because you will save yourself a lot of hurt and pain later on. But if you're living in the moment and you're being honest with yourself, that's what the show kind of promotes and pushes. And it's hard to kind of get in that mindset of, all right, I got to maybe hold back a little bit.
Well, based on how this is going to go, Clayton might be calling you for maybe some advice or some support, because it is, as I always say, it's fun to joke about the show, but people go way too far all the time. So I can imagine it's going to be an interesting month for him on the internet.
Yeah, it's coming down to the end. This is where it gets real interesting. That's for sure.
Did you try to not look at stuff like that, or were you reading? Because he said he was reading it all, and I think someone had to tell him, dude, you got to stop reading it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of impossible not to like see everything, like when it's, you know, people are talking, but it's just, it kind of just, you just kind of get hardened to it. At some point it stops affecting you so much just because you can only take so much. And then you just kind of, it's like, it sucks, but you kind of just get used to it. And so then it doesn't affect as much, but he's going to come out of this no matter what, for sure. Like he said, the reason, my theory to it, you know, he doesn't end up with someone is in the beginning of the show, he said something about, or I saw an interview where he was like, yeah, I found love. And that was very shocking to me because normally you're not supposed to say that and give it away. You know, you're kind of coached not to do that. And I think it's going to be more of he found a self-love type situation in the end, you know, with himself. And he's learned a lot about himself and he's really excited about, you know, progressing and finding something in the future. So we will see. I
love that prediction. Well, I'll let you guys go. Tell everyone where they can listen to Bachelors in the City when it comes out. Anything else you got going on that you want the Us Weekly listeners and readers to know?
Bachelors in the City. You guys can listen to us anywhere you guys get podcasts. We have 2 episodes a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Would love to have you join us. And hopefully I'll fly you on a flight someday. United Airlines, come say hi. Come check the.
You fly out of Newark a lot, right?
Yeah, I fly to Newark and LaGuardia.
Okay, I live in Hoboken, so I'm at that Newark. I'm waiting one day, Peter. I'm gonna get on the plane. It's gonna be you.
Newark, there's a chance there for sure.
Definitely. All right, thank you guys so much. Anything else?
Dustin, can we end this break already? I miss you, man. I'm over it.
We have less.
I need my roommate back.
We have less than a month. We'll be back together here soon.
I can't wait to watch the hijinks when Clay gets involved too.
I know, right? Yeah. We might have 3 bachelors in the city. Who knows? But please follow us.
It'll be a shit show.
Yeah, watch our podcast. Shout out to Red Rock Music. And if you are in the New York area and want to volunteer and get some cool perks from local businesses, come volunteer with Guaranteed Karma. Peter will be hosting one of his own volunteering opportunities here soon with Guaranteed Karma. So come hang out with us, guys.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys, so much. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. You too, Sarah.